السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أهلا وسهلا ومرحبا بكم جميعا. Since we are aware that the Ramadan Kareem has departed from us, but we should always remember that the real purpose of Ramadan is لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, to become muttaqi. Taqwa basically is comprised of three things: the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and safeguarding oneself from the disobedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In Ramadan, you can understand it as a training program, a training of 30 days, wherein Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala trains a Muslim person to abstain from those things which are halal. Whatever the halal food is, he abstains from those halal rizq, halal food. By abstaining from the halal things during the fasting, a person is trained that once the period of Siyam, once the period of Ramadan is over, you would abstain yourself from the haram ashya, from the haram things of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever has been prohibited by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will safeguard yourself from those things. A person has controlled himself from the emotions towards his wife during the daytime of Ramadan is going to control his emotions after the Ramadan towards other woman. A person who has abstained himself from the halal rizq, from the halal food during fasting, during the daytime of fasting, he is completely trained that he will abstain himself from the haram rizq, from the haram things. Now a person who has been trained for 1 month, is obvious that he will use that training in the months coming after. Person who joins an army or a military force is put under rigorous training for some period. After completion of the training, the same soldier is put into duty. If the same soldier who has been rigorously trained is incapable of fighting with the enemies, is considered as a useless soldier, is considered as a soldier who lost the purpose of training. In the same way, once the Ramadan is over, shayateen once again are going to attack a Muslim person. Now we have been trained and we have safeguarded ourselves from the halal rizq, from the halal relationships, from the halal things during the Ramadan. We have been trained how to abstain, how to stay away from the halal things during the Ramadan. Now, through staying away from the halal things, we have been trained that after the Ramadan, we are going to stay away from the haram things when the Ramadan is over. Since the Ramadan is already over, now this should be our goal and this should be our principle, this should be our purpose, that we will stay away from the haram, we will stay away from the prohibitions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and strive our best to become the pious Muslims. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.